Alright, we're changing the mic on this video because the other one sounded like tried to make it sound good, didn't really work. Today we are doing the AL Central, a division that was really bad a couple years ago, and now it is going to be very, very competitive. It actually took me a very long time to decide who was going to get first place. So that is what we'll be ranking today. If you've not seen my AL East video, it came out yesterday, go and watch it. But of course you can just watch this one first, there's no particular order you have to watch this in. Alright, let's start with a team that's obviously in 5th. You know, I think it's really cool that last year we got to witness history. Now, for White Sox fans, if there are any, it wasn't good history, but for the rest of us, it was pretty funny. But yeah, there was definitely nothing they did to make this team better. They actually lost a lot of people that still made them a little teeny tiny bit relevant. Of course, the Garrett Crochet trade, Michael Soroka's gone, Yoan Moncada. The only relevant person left is Luis Robert Jr. But if that guy plays up to the potential that he's praised at, oh my god, he is going to get traded. He's going to get traded, probably for some really good prospects. And that's a good thing that the White Sox have been doing, is that they are getting a bunch of these prospects because they're trading away players. The most relevant ones by trade, Kyle Teal, Braden Montgomery, Garrett Crochet trade. And they also have a lot of other prospects on the way, the biggest one being Noah Schultz, Hagen Smith, Colson Montgomery, Edgar Cuero, I mean, you name it. We're definitely going to see a lot of those players in the major leagues this year because the White Sox just don't have a lot of talent. But as of right now, I can't name who their opening day starters even going to be, so that's how bad they are. Along with those top prospects, they also signed some one-year deals, mainly for people who are seeing their way out of Major League Baseball and trying to stay back in it and have a comeback year. All one-year deals, and if they're good enough, they can get a trade out of that hellhole. But when it comes to their record, they're in 5th place, obviously. But there's no possible way they could be as bad as they were last year, right? Right? I think it's like scientifically impossible. Now with that being said, they're still going to be very, very bad. I got them at a record of 58 and 104, and that's probably generous. Hey, but you never know, those prospects might be really good. They're going to have more wins than that. Okay, I really don't want to talk about the White Sox anymore, so let's just move on to some real competition. The offseason has come and gone, and the Pohlads still own the Twins. I thought they were going to sell it. What the hell happened? Throughout this period where we didn't know the direction of ownership, there were a lot of subtractions. Max Kepler's now a Philly. Carlos Santana's a Guardian again. Those were two really big pieces in your lineup, and your replacements for them are Harrison Bader and Ty France. Not the best replacements. Danny Coulomb, though? Could be pretty good. Their starting rotation is still okay. Joe Ryan's still doing his thing. Bailey Ober's still one of the most underrated starting pitchers in the league. Chris Paddock for rotational depth. And I'm really hoping that this year we get a better year out of Pablo Lopez. He was still good, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't as good as he was in 23. There's still some big bats in this lineup, the biggest one being Carlos Correa. Actually ended up having a really, really good year last year. The biggest thing that's going to come with the Twins is staying healthy. I mean, if Royce Lewis and Byron Buxton can stay healthy for a full 162, that is 2 MVP candidates. But of course, they're both coming off a major injury, so we might not see them back at full strength immediately. Also, a player that could be coming up in the minor league system soon, Walker Jenkins. I'm a very huge fan of his game, and I really hope that he can fill an outfield position out there in Minnesota. Also, their second best prospect, Emmanuel Rodriguez, already in the majors. There's definitely a lot of things to look forward to on this Minnesota team, and I still think they will be fun to watch, but they need a whole bunch of pieces that they want to compete for the division. Maybe if they do end up having a really good first half and they can buy at the trade deadline, but of course they were very good last year and then the complete collapse. I mean, who knows with the Pohlads. When I first did the ranking of the Central, I was actually so confused that I was going to put the Twins this low. I do have them in 4th, but it's because the top 3 teams are really good. I got them with a record of 83 and 79, but who knows what's going to happen with the Twins. Now, this is a team that I really want to talk about because I think they are going to be very, very good for the next couple of years. They didn't even lose any free agents. Actually, they may have not had any, never mind. Probably because their core is so young and they're still under their rookie contracts. I mean, let's just go over this young lineup. Riley Green, Kerry Carpenter, Jace Young, Colt Keith, Trey Sweeney, Matt Vierling, not Javier Baez, maybe not Spencer Torkelson, we'll have to see about that one. And then of course, one of their bigger offseason signings is Gleyber Torres to a 1-year deal. Maybe all he needs is a change of scenery. And then their pitching is definitely heading in the right direction. Tarek Skubal, reigning Cy Young Award winner. Reese Olson, maybe Casey Mize will bounce back. And then of course, probably the biggest free agency signing by the Tigers, they brought back Jack Flaherty. That is a huge thing that I really wanted the Tigers to do all offseason, and they actually did it. The Tigers traded him to the Dodgers during the trade deadline. Didn't end up working out the way that they wanted it to, but he still became World Series champion. But the fact that he was so good on the Tigers, that cannot be ignored. He had to go back to Detroit, and that's exactly what happened. Also bringing in other pitchers like Alex Cobb, Tommy Kahnle, John Brebbia, very good as well. And you also can't forget about some of their prospects. Jackson Jobe, he's probably going to be starting when the season starts. And then Max Clark is still an A-ball, but he is going to pop off. Tigers are definitely on the on and up, putting them in third, 89 and 73. I think they will get more wins than that though, if they make the right moves at the deadline. Definitely competing for the division. After a decades-long wait, the Royals are finally good again. The talent on last year's roster really opened the door back up for them, and that shows by the offseason moves that they made. Getting Carlos Estevez to probably close out games, pretty good. Re-signing Michael Lorenzen, good for the def. Trading for Joey Wiemer to get that backup outfielder. Now, in that trade with the Reds, they did give up Brady Singer, but of course that's not the whole trade, that'd be unfair. The biggest acquisition of the Royals offseason, Jonathan India. The Reds have been trying to trade him for years. Jonathan India had a league average year last year. Maybe in Kansas City we can see him playing to his Rookie of the Year potential. This Royals lineup's starting to look really good. You got an MVP candidate in Bobby Witt Jr., Vinny Pasquantino, Michael Garcia, Salvi Perez. That outfield though? May need some help. And also, can we talk about how good their rotation is? Seth Lugo, Michael Wacha, Kyle Wright, Michael Lorenzen, Chris Bubich. Then of course you can't forget their ace in Cole Reagans. He just signed an extension with the Royals to cover all his arbitration years. Good move by the club. The Rangers got fleeced in that Chapman trade, oh my god. Now I may be getting a little ahead of myself, but I am very excited to see one of their players coming up from their minor league system, and that is Jack Caglione. He was a pitcher and a first baseman in college, but I think he is going to be hitting though in the major leagues. Or he could be the next Shohei Ohtani, you never know. But definitely many things to be excited about when it comes to the Royals. I am going to have the Royals in second, record of 90 and 72. A big thing I do need to see though to make this dream come true, the outfield needs to perform. I mean, Hunter Renfroe coming back from injury will give him some slack. However, players like MJ Melendez, Nelson Velasquez, they have just not really been that good, but I do think that their loaded infield and their pitching is going to get them to that 90 win mark, competing for the division as well. Also, the Chiefs. So the Guardians are kind of a weird case because they didn't get worse, they didn't get better, they just sustained, which honestly is not a bad thing to do. I mean, they had a pretty good team last year. The Guardians are a team that definitely made a lot more acquisitions compared to other teams. They added 8 and lost 7. And 5 of the people that they lost, they traded them. They finally got rid of Miles Straw for a trade to the Blue Jays. They also sent some international bonus pool money to the Blue Jays to get Roki, and we know how that worked out. One that was very interesting to me is that they decided to trade Josh Naylor to the Diamondbacks. They got Slade Sassoni in return, but I mean, they just traded their starting first baseman. I'm pretty sure they already had something in mind. They signed Carlos Santana, and he is now back in Cleveland. Santana had a really good year for the Twins last year, most likely about the same amount of production that Naylor would have had, maybe a little less. Shane Bieber's back on a one-year deal. I think a lot of people saw this coming. He's coming off of Tommy John surgery, and right now the Guardians are really the only team that can trust him at this certain moment. They also got some help with the bullpen, Paul Sewald, Luis Ortiz, Jacob Junis, and they actually just signed Josh Means while I was recording this. Isn't he still injured though? And now the Guardians, as always, have an underrated rotation in bullpen. Tanner Bybee has been outstanding. Gavin Williams, Tristan McKenzie, then you still got Clase out there closing out games. Moving on to the lineup, Bo Naylor's still here catching. They traded away Andres Jimenez, which must mean that they really believe in Brian Rocchio to be that starting second baseman every day. I really want Kyle Manzardo to break out. David Fry was incredible at DH last year. Of course, Stephen Kwan, still a contact machine. Lane Thomas actually ended up being a pretty good trade with Washington. And then, probably my favorite nickname in baseball, Big Christmas, Yohensky Noel, probably one of the coolest homers I've ever seen. But when it comes to the Guardians, they definitely maintain, and I still think they're a really good team, the best in their division. I'm going to have them in first, going 93 and 69. Nice. But as you can tell throughout this video, a lot of these records are really, really close. So I really think the AL Central is anyone's game. Besides the White Sox. Once again, here are my predictions for the AL Central. AL West video comes out tomorrow.